So be on the You take it. Let me see the challenge. I want it. Prof.
Hello, ma.
I'm in now.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Try to see if you can share your screen just to test run it, ma.
I didn't prepare to test. Okay, let's. I didn't prepare for that.
Oh, okay.
You said you were going to. Let me see. Can you do it? But I have to go to my email. Log in from my email. I didn't log in from my email. Let me log in from my email. The presentation. That's the thing. I can't. I forgot my iPad, so I'm using my husband's phone. That's why I called you. If you can share it for your screen. Can you share?
Dr. Ifede, will you help us, please? Dr. Ifede.
Yes, I can hear you. It's okay.
Let me call.
What do we?
Not to worry, man. Not to worry, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I think we will resolve that.
Okay. Thank you. Because I don't know the part I case, the left I case in Lagos.
You have done very well, man, for coming on time. This is private sector. Private sector to work.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's sharing now.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
So we want it to be screwed. You just say it and
okay. Yes, I will. Thanks.
So, Dr. Awosika, during the presentation, the audience will be sending in chatting their questions, and we will compile the question and ask the questions on their behalf.
To me, okay.
When you finish presentation, and you can take as many as you have time to take, because we know.
I'll do my best. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Edie. Edie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
You see, I'm going to call the participant now to switch because they are having lecture. So I'm going to tell them to switch now.
Okay.
That's why you're not seeing them. It's not that they are late, really, but they are right there. They want to come in at the exact time. It's 5 minutes to, so they should not wait for 11.
You know, yes.
Yes, I'll tell them.
Let's wait for 11 now. Because we are changing them.
Okay, madam.
Let's wait for 11.
Because they are waiting for.
We can be keeping our words, just as we told them. It's fine.
It's okay.
Thank you.
They are eagerly waiting for you. So.
Dr. Fury.
Yes, CD, I'm with you.
Yeah, you can pause the screen sharing.
Okay.
I'll stop it for now.
Okay.
I was doing managing like walking about.
That noise is coming from the classroom. They are switching now. So that the facilitator is still talking.
Still talking, okay.
Yes, they must have been told that you stop talking.
Good morning, everyone, Prof. Good morning.
Oh, that's Dr. Eze.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
BP, you're welcome.
My BAMSEC chairman.
BP. You're welcome. Oh.
Thank you, my sister.
Bless you.
Dr. Fury.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, Dr. Eze is the former DG of procurement. And
yes. We discussed
yes.
about it. Yes, I remember.
Yes.
There was one that was working too. I was working the talk.
His name is synonymous with procurement.
Yes, that's why I called him procurement.
I'll send you that register.
It was a tug of war, fighting with the bureaucracy.
Yes.
Not that bad with us. DG.
Huh?
It wasn't that bad with some of us. We aligned with.
No, you always like your way out and intelligently. Remember, starting from the NPI days.
Yes, it was tug of war. But we always had that. We always did it to the best of our ability. That we can talk about it on the screen. Yes. Even when the political bigwigs want to throw us here, we throw them too.
Some people are talking in the background.
Participants kindly mute themselves. Participants kindly mute yourselves.
Professor Law, you are welcome, sir. That's our chairman.
Thank you very much, Executive.
And Professor Oguipe, you are welcome, sir. Our Vice Chancellor, sir.
Welcome the VC too.
Yes, our Vice Chancellor, sir.
Thank you, sir.
VC, welcome.
Auntie.
Indomitable.
Brother VC, welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Is it afternoon? That's Engineer Dr. Eze greeting you, sir.
I know, God.
Okay.
Sorry, we are having a retreat, so I just excuse myself from the program.
Okay.
So we are in Abeokuta now.
Okay.
The management and the deans and directors. Dr. Aderonke, how are you?
Should have come to Abuja.
I'm happy that Engineer Eze was kidnapped by Oshilumi to this platform. So that you'll be able to harvest from your wealth of experience. Just like Auntie too. Professor Allah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, VC.
You are getting ready for what?
Before our VC disappears, you will open us. We thank you.
I will be part of it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Auntie Dr. Awosika.
I'm saluting. I'm saluting. How are you?
I'm good, man.
I'm outside Lagos too.
I'm in Abeokuta now.
I'm in Ondo.
Thank God for virtual platform.
We really thank God. It's a different world entirely. If it were before, we will not even think that we can do the rushing back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for your support, man.
Thank God. God bless you.
Amen.
Can we start?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
David, okay.
Please, participant, kindly mute yourself, please.
See who is this? Participant, mute yourself. I am meeting on
Kindly mute yourself, please.
Who is the anchor?
I'm not joining the meeting.
Yes, okay.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Temitayo Ogundipe, FAS.
They like flower.
The Chairman of the Advisory Board of University of Lagos Business School, distinguished Professor Babajide Aloy FAS, our guest speaker, whom I will introduce later. And then let me also recognize the former DG of Bureau of Procurement, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Eze, deans and directors, distinguished ULBS facilitators, and my co-moderator and anchor, Dr. Ifere, who also doubles as our DBA director. And our participants, guests, and ladies and gentlemen, I am Abraham Oshinobi, the Executive Director of the University of Lagos Business School, ULBS. We were established by the University of Lagos, the University of First Choice, and the nation's pride. Our vision is to be a top-class business school recognized globally for excellence and knowledge, capable of realizing business potentials. Our mission is to provide innovative business research and training, leading to capacity to deliver sound business and entrepreneurial success. The NUC resource verification exercise took place on the 29th April 2019, and we had our approval on the 22nd, 2019 to set up ULBS and run 4 programs: the Executive MBA, Executive MPH, Executive MPA, and Executive MRM. In August 2020, the ULBS was admitted into the membership of BGA, Business Graduates Association of London, And as of today, the ULBS remains the only business school in this country to be so recognized. On the 12th of May, 2021, the ULBS became the 4th business school in Nigeria to be recognized by the AABS, the Association of African Business Schools based in South Africa. We are already having preliminary discussion with the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business in Florida for additional global recognition. Our curricula are designed to offer academic quality, promote authentic learning, and skill acquisition. At the ULBS, our coursework is designed to help build professional skills in business, management, leadership, health, and other related fields by promoting idea development, analytical thinking, planning, and effective communication. Our unique learning culture and environment bridges the gap between theory and practice, preparing our participants to apply their new knowledge and skills in the workplace. Indeed, it's our policy at the ULBS that no single lecturer facilitates a course. Facilitation involves an academician and at least one highly experienced industry practitioner. This special seminar was therefore instituted to merge the gown with the town and remove the gulf between theory and practice. It is part of the coursework of our participants. Indeed, they will need to write a report onto this presentation. However, since it's a mandate to raise global leaders, we have extended the invitation to those at the senior management level of our great university. The success, process, and the prosperity of any business depend on a lot of understanding of the particular sector in question. And our focus today is the Nigerian private sector. The business environment has the characteristics of being dynamic, interrelated, highly complex, and filled with uncertainty and relativity. The contextual nature of the environment implies that both knowledge and experience are vital tools to navigate through. A good knowledge of this space is therefore of great value to managers. And who else is in the best position to offer this much needed insight other than a personality that have literally seen it all? The identity of whom I shall reveal later on after the masking has been done. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish every one of us a greatly rewarding time out here today. Thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I now call on the chairman of the advisory board of the University of Lagos Business School, distinguished Professor Babajide Alon, to give his opening remarks. FAS. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ED. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Ndipe, FAS, our leader, our boss. The honorary speaker for today, Emeritus Permanent Secretary, well acknowledged. Can we mute? Okay. Well acknowledged, Dr. Mrs. Dere Awosika, chairman of Access Bank, chairman of several businesses, who we are so proud to have with us today as our speaker, mounting the rostrum that has been mounted by several leaders of industry, leaders of government in the short past. The emeritus and past chairman of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, and our friend in UNILAC, engineer Dr. Emeka. We are glad to have you this morning with us, sir, and we look forward to, in fact, you're also coming to mount the rostrum very soon. On behalf of the board of advisory board of the University of Lagos Business School, the executive director has given an intro into what the school is. The concept of the school, which we give all due respect to our Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundikpe, who is committed to making sure that we raise a business school that will be different from the regular business schools. We know that there have been business schools and there have been business schools. But University of Lagos Business School, from conception and practice, we are poised to raise global business leaders for the Nigerian economy. We want to raise individuals and people who will be different from the norm of business enterprises, which is why leadership, as you can see in our cliche, is very critical to us. Business, we want to raise business leaders, global business leaders, who are not only good for the Nigerian economy, but who can stand their own anywhere in the world. And we believe, and so let us so too, that that's the only way we can ensure that Nigeria gets to where it wants to be. We want to be able to generate a crop of business leaders who will change the norm, who will change narrative of how we run things in our business sector in Nigeria. And we are believing that with people like our guest speaker of today on board with us, we will get to where we want to be. And indeed, we are getting there. We have a crop of participants, as we call them, in our business programs that are different from what we used to have. Other business schools, we call them students, but we call them participants because we believe we want to gestate ideas. We want to get into conversations that will change the norm, that will make us produce global business leaders as we know them. And we are trusting that with this approach that we are following, we will get there. This series of special lectures, special interaction.
I put off my speaker.
Special interaction
yes.
with.
No, he's still doing that. I don't know.
That difference to us.
The phone is so nice, man.
Someone has still not muted her phone. Somebody called Ngozi Chukuma or whatever. Can you mute your phone, please? So that you don't interrupt us. So we believe that the approach we are taking of organizing special seminar series in which we invite the town, we invite top echelons of industry, of government, of politics to talk to us, will make us where we want to be. So this is just one thing. We indeed have a board guru with us today, chairman of Access Bank, federal permanent secretary of several years and several ministries and experiences. So we are glad and we welcome everyone on behalf of the school to this special session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I call on the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundikpe, FAS, to give his remarks. The Vice Chancellor, sir.
Thank you, Professor Shinobi, the Executive Director of Unilag Business School, University of Lagos. I'm sure Dr. Alo will have loved to join, but he's the one that is coordinating this session of the retreat program that we have in Abeokuta for management, deans, and directors in the University of Lagos. So I respectfully recognize our former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, Professor Babajide Alo, the Fellow of the Academy of Science, my auntie, respected Dr. Dere Awosika, or maybe I will put Dr. Pharmacist Dere Awosika, and alumnus engineer, and we also have one of our students who also doubled as the chairman of University of Lagos alumni, Lagos State chapter on the platform too, and all respected people who are on this platform. I want to recognize you, and the participants too. I want us to know that this vision of the UNILAG Business School started when Professor Bello was the Vice Chancellor. I believe in continuity because I was part of the vision, part of the management when the proposal was written, and during this tenure of this administration, we were able to get everything through and to make it to come to life. What other people do is to abandon the vision of the previous administration. What we are doing is what I call continuity, because I was part of the last administration, and I believe in the vision of the last administration, in which Professor Alotu was part of. The second thing I want us to note is that through this platform, we want to bring in people who have been able to solve problems in Nigeria in their own little way to come and talk to us. Number three, we want our UNILAG Business School to move to the level of London Business School of Economics. You remember during the time of Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, that was the time they went to the London Business School and they got solution to solving part of the problems that they have in UK then. What I want, and by the grace of God, as my Lord liveth, it will come to pass, that this UNILAG Business School, with the skills that we have, with the intellect that we have, with the personality that we have, we'll use this platform to address the problems that we have in this country, in the area of education, economy, the transportation, political governance, leadership, that will come out with publications, we come out with ideas, we come out with solutions that will solve this country's problem. Nobody can solve our problem for us. We believe, I told the accreditation and the visitation panel that came, I said, we believe in this country. We believe in this country, and we believe that we are the solution provider for this country. China will not solve our problem for us. America will not solve our problem for us. We are the one that can solve our own problem, because our environment is different from their own environment. And I make bold to say that everything that we need to solve this problem is in this country. Let UNILAG Business School be the school or the institution that will assist this country to solve this problem. So once again, I want to thank my dear auntie, Dr. Dere Awosika, for accepting to come on board. We have also brought in the chairman of MTN to the UNILAG Business School to be part of the people that will be involved. We want to talk to Baba Obasanjo very soon, I'm sure, with even auntie that is there now, Dr. Awosika. We will bring Baba Obasanjo to come and talk to us in the area of maybe governance and leadership. So once again, I want to thank every one of you for being part of this program. And I want to wish every one of us all the best. And I pray that God will bless us all. Thank you very much. Over to you, Professor Osinobi.
Thank you, sir. The Vice Chancellor of the University. Thank you so much, sir.
I think Rosemary Danesi should mute. Please mute everybody. Rosemary Danesi should.
Okay, let me see if I can mute everybody from here. Mute all. Yes, I've done that. I now give the citation of our guest speaker, Dr. Dere Awosika, was born in Sapele in Delta State on 15th of January 1953. She attended Anglican Girls Grammar School, Benin City, Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, where she bagged her pharmacy degree in 1976. She obtained an MS in clinical pharmacy, and a PhD in pharmacy technology from the University of Bradford, United Kingdom in 1981 and 85 respectively. Dr. Awosika was inducted a fellow of the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacy in 1990 before proceeding for a postdoctoral training in clinical pharmacy at the University of Leeds Teaching Hospital, United Kingdom, where she was awarded postdoctoral award in clinical pharmacy in 1993. Dr. Mrs. Awosika has a vast working experience, beginning as an intern at the General Hospital, Benin City. She also worked at the SIM Hospital in Jos, the Military Hospital in Lagos, and she was the senior pharmacist in charge at the Military Hospital, Benin City, and a research pharmacist at St. Mary's Hospital in Bradford. She equally had some stints in practical attachment at Whipps Cross Hospital and Barnet Hospital in London. She later worked as a clinical pharmacist at Bayes Hospital, the former military hospital in Yaba, where she voluntarily disengaged at the directorate level. Dr. Ms. Awosika was the pioneer and national coordinator of the National Program on Immunization, Director Parastatal in the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Director, Department of Community Relations and Youth Development in the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Permanent Secretary, Career Management Office in the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, and Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Science and Technology. No wonder Professor Allah addressed her as Emeritus Permanent Secretary. She has to accredit various publications and paper presentations in her professional field. Dr. Awosika is a fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria and the National Institute of Directors. She is also a member of the Great Britain Clinical Pharmacist Forum. She is a recipient of several honors and awards: the Distinguished Vocational Service Award of Rotary District 9130, Rotary International, the ECOWAS Community Service Gold Award, and the Distinguished Pharmacist Award. She is also the founder of Trustee Christian Benevolence Foundation. She is an alumnus of the Harvard Business School, School of London Business School, and College School of Business in Canada, and also an alumnus of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. She was awarded the Member of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, MFR, in 2004 for her immense contributions to nation building. Dr. Mrs. Awosika in January 2013 retired from the Nigerian Civil Service as the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power. She was appointed to the Board of Access Bank in April 2013 and served as the Vice Chairperson of the Board Audit Committee and Chairman of the Board Credit and Finance Committee. She sits on the boards of Capital Express Assurance and Josephine Consulting Limited. Dr. Awosika became the chairperson of the Board of Access Bank PLC on the 8th of January 2020. She is a member of the board of Adjacent University and a member of the advisory board of the University of Lagos Business School. She is happily married and with children. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure, privilege, and honor to present an administrative guru, a business guru, a colossal pathfinder, a trailblazer, an extremely disciplined, diligent, hardworking, highly cerebral, dedicated to duty, office, and to God, greatly resourceful personality, highly industrious, a visionary,
and this is
with a clear vision, and to capital and epitome of humility and versatility, Dr. Dere Awosika, MFR, MNI. You are welcome, ma'am.
Professor Shinobi, you got it all.
Thank you, BC. I was listening to Professor Shinobi, and then I don't know. All I can say is thank you, Lord. Thanks very much, Professor Shinobi. Thanks for inviting me from the business school. My regards and the appreciation of the Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos, of course, the Prime University, amongst others, like Ahmadu Bello University as well. I want to also recognize and salute Professor Allo, the able leadership at the business school. I want to thank also the members of the business school board who are here present, members of the university council that are here present. I want to recognize and thank you for this platform to speak to an issue. I want to thank my colleague when government of Engineer Dr. Eze, able BPE Director General, and all the great participants on this platform this morning. But above all, we should be thanking God in times like this, that there is so much globally and locally, matters of governance, matters of development, matters of leadership, matters of security. But God in all of this have enabled us to be able to come together and speak to issues that would drive us to rise above all of these matters. I thank you all for the choice of this topic, and I know that together we flow and learn from one another going forward. Thank you very much. The topic that we're discussing this morning is leadership in the private sector. It then implies that there is leadership in the public sector that drives everyone. There is leadership in the private sector that drives some issues. And we're looking at this topic under three major perspectives. There could be others. The role and importance of the private sector. The second area is the importance of leadership in the Nigerian private sector. And we'll be looking at the third segment as the new mindset for private sector leadership. So we'll just go straight to the Nigerian private sector, the importance. The private sector is a part of the economy. In other words, we're talking about money, economy, determinants for human living, standards. It is that part of the economy that is run by individuals and also by companies for profit. And please let's underline the word for profit, because that distinguishes the private from the public. And it is not state controlled. It has its rules, but it's not state controlled. Clearly, this is the segment of the national economy that is owned and managed by private individuals like you and I, or corporate entities, NGOs, and the like. In most free economies globally, the private sector contributes to a larger portion compared to nations with restricted economies. And you know, such nations like China, Russia, and the like, they have more state control over their domestic economy. However, in Nigeria, we operate a free economy. That's a great plus for our nation, and probably a great tool for development going forward. So partnership can exist since it's a free economy. The Nigerian private sector comprises of both formal and informal sector. Both of them are very significant, formal and informal sector. The informal sector contributes about 80%. That's why I was emphasizing the word significant to the economy. And they are mostly small and mid-sized businesses. They also have large corporations and multinational. All of this constitute the private sector economy. Nigeria has significant potential for economic growth. I know most of us don't want to hear the word potential again, including myself. We're tired of the potential for so long, but those are facts. Nigeria has significant potential for economic growth. And there is an if. And this is why the business school is so important in driving a practical approach to helping people to see through their roles and responsibilities as a Nigerian citizen. If the private sector will attain its true potential with increased transition of the informal sector to the organized private sector, there's a transition that needs to be made. There's a huge number of mid-sized companies, small companies that are bringing money that is not even captured under taxation, that is not captured under the statistics of businesses in the country, that is not even under the diary of the small and medium SMEs. They don't have the diary of this, but they are significant because they are what is driving the entire nation to a great extent that we have not reached the brink of the extreme, although we talk about extreme poverty, but it could really be worse. So what's the role of the private sector in economic growth that we're talking about? No matter what economy, the private sector remains the engine of growth. If you take the China where government gets involved, what do? They still get companies to drive it for them. Governments can't come from China to start making roads, to start building trains. They get the CCEC. Can you go back to the, yes, thank you. The previous slide, please. The previous slide, yeah. So the private sector is part of the economy. No, one more slide, ahead. Ahead. No matter what economy, that's where I am. The private sector remains the engine of growth. The private sector, productivity and its essential role in economic growth has been fully established. And I was just giving an example that even in the state-controlled countries, like you have China, they still run it through a company. That's why you have CCEC coming to build you trade, and the government does not come as government of China to build you. But here, we have a free economy. So we can build partnership at small, medium, and large levels. The private sector drives productivity. And it's true. It's only in few public sector that you see productivity aligned to salary. And its essential role is economic growth has been established. In the bank, we are given targets. And the target is not just beyond getting money. The target is having a holistic growth view and performance indicators that takes the bank from one level to the other. So the private sector generates 30% of jobs, 90% of jobs, sorry. Because if you look at the civil service, we're saying it's over bloated. When I was permanent secretary for the career management office and I decided to take an inventory of the civil servants, not the public servants, I was shocked that civil servants were less than 1 million. But the public servants are more. So the private sector generates 90% of jobs. In the Access Bank, our job creation covers at least 3 states, i.e. Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo put together is the number of people that we employ in the bank alone. So, and I'm sorry, it's repeating itself in the industry and several other places. Funds more than 60% of investment in developing countries like ours. The private sector does that. That's why investment into the country is a key, is a major key to drive our development. And the country must be investment friendly. And there has to be internal investment friendliness. Interstate transactions can bring a lot. Partnership between local governments can bring a lot. And we need to move to this utilization of partnership within and without. As a big nation with 36 states and FCT, 37 and FCT inclusive. And then we have 774 local governments, all of them with resources. And we have 9,557 wards. Some of the wards equivalent to some major districts in other countries in the ECOWAS. What are we waiting for? Investment from outside the country, all of them are engines of growth. Private sector contributes more than 80% of government revenue in low and medium income countries through company taxes, resource rents, and income tax on employees. The private sector provides an ever-increasing share of essential services, such as banking, telecommunication, this is a story we all agree with, health and education. The last two still has great room, and even all of them, for development. The private sector invents, designs, and produces most of the goods and services that the poor use and that drive an economy. We must have a concern. We must change. We must drive a process, a proven process that private sector is an engine of growth for the country. And if we are to take the poor, reduce the number of poor in our country, as it's a major concern for both public and private. And if the private sector can address this issue through invents, design, and production of goods and increase them, the economy will improve. Let me diversify here a bit from what I know. The W banking I'm not coming here to talk to you about Access Bank, but I just have to let you know the example that brings home the point. The W banking in Access Bank takes care of women. And recently we're talking with some of our international friends. And you know, from just talking and looking at, there's what they call Zora Festival. And we have been targeting women who can make local goods very well. And they were so lovely. When we filmed them and showed the film of these women in various capacity, up to 97, 10 were chosen to bring their goods for partnership in the United States. This is what we have in-house. And I'm sure it's equal for men. We have good carpentry system. Why do we import? We have good electrical work and they are doing very well. So we have a lot to be able to help from the private sector point of view to increase the economy, to move it forward and to reduce poverty in the country. Number 6, the private sector is the dominant producer of exports in almost all the economies in the world, including the United States. How much more with Nigeria that has so much? If you look at the 9,557, we did a study in the Federal Ministry of Science and Tech. Until today, I'm excited about that study. We did a study of the resources in each ward in this nation, Nigeria. And we found out that of the 9,557 wards, there was no ward that God did not give a natural resource that can transform that ward. What are we waiting for? Is it mineral resources? They are there. Is it wood? They are there. Is it rubber? They are there. Is it food? They are there. And we can go on and on. So there is nowhere. The document is available. It was taken to the Federal Executive Council. It was approved. It's available as a resource material to build partnership and to generate jobs. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. We'll now go into the importance of leadership in the Nigerian private sector. We've talked generally of possibilities. We've talked generally of all the abilities and things that are available to the country in the different areas. But we need leadership. We need leadership because leadership has is critical. It's a critical factor for the actualization of organizational goals, whether in concept, whether in the thinking, whether in the making, in both the public and private sector of any economy. We need strategic thinking. If you decide to help your ward today to drive the materials, you can think for them as a leader. Strategic thinking is necessary for moving forward. Take a ward. I know that the wards in Bauchi and Gombe that are very rich in sesame seeds, and you want to help that ward. The demand of sesame seed across the Asian world is high because they eat it a lot. But you need that leadership to do a strategic thinking for the communities. Leadership is a critical factor. I repeat again, leadership is a critical factor. You and I need to take the lead in the private sector. And if you happen to be connected to the public sector, there is need for that as well. Because when there is absence of strategic thinking, then what you have on the table is anything goes. Leadership theories are centered on the trait theories that emphasize certain personal qualities and characteristics as basis for successful leadership. Style theories that put emphasis essentially on a leader's behavior at work. A leader's behavior, characteristics matter. In the private sector, you will not come into leadership when your characteristics, your behavior, your personal qualities have been tainted in one way or the other. They will not want it to taint the organization. And as you join, you also be mindful. I want you to be on the lighter side a bit yesterday. I went for a program, and one of the officials, I asked for some money from Access Bank and brought it in the form of spray. And I said, oh, you meant, this is my personal money, I want to use it for myself. He said, oh, I thought because you're in the program, so spraying. I said, I can't spray. CBN precludes spraying. And I can't be chairman of a bank and begin to spray. It doesn't work. Even if I want to. The discipline of leadership means that your characteristics must be exemplary, and you must be able to show that in all that you do, in what you express in the societal value as well. So your decision-making skills in all of the activities is a major trait, both in your private life. Your private life becomes public in most sense, and you need to be able to be exemplary in being able to give leadership. The third one is navigating the Nigerian private sector to become successful will require a merge of traits and style theories. There are traits and style theories to achieve effective leadership. Leadership traits, I'll mention a few of them now. I spoke about strategic thinking, decision-making skills. There's also the conflict resolution skills. There's the team building skills, delegation skills, and you have to be innovative because things are changing at all times. The other tenets of leadership is the mastery and dispensation of key traits. It's instrumental in delivering value to any organization. There has to be mastery. There has to be dispensation of key traits. These are very clear. Again, I repeat the traits that you need to display in leadership. Your strategic thinking, your decision-making skill, your conflict resolution skill, the team building skill, the delegation skill, and ability to innovate. All these skills, once imbibed, will lead to very good leadership, and it will also lead to economic growth. It leads to economic growth. So the importance of good leadership in achieving economic growth requires one, visioning. Visioning. A good leader envisions the future state of the economic growth and then influences their followers to buy into the plan and explain the importance of the role in the plan. Most organizations do 5-year strategic plan. This 5-year strategic plan, to be economically relevant, you have to extract it beside the projection of the indices, economic indices, that will reflect on the outcomes that you are going to manage. So your strategic thinking will have a very good basis for projection. And projection is another word for visioning. What do you vision? What's your vision for the industry, for the organization, for your little business, for your small business, for your large business? Where do you want to see it? What is the growth percentage increase that you want to see? What kind of innovation do you want to bring? All of this is put into the strategic thinking right through to the innovation. And then you introduce and manage changes. You introduce and manage changes. A good leader persuades, ensure that people get understanding of the journey. You know, the journey is going on a vision, and you want people to follow you on that journey. It is your duty to ensure that people understand the vision and buy into it through an understanding. So a good leader persuades. Can't you see? By 2 years' time, we should be in 20 countries of Africa. Why should we be? We're a gateway to Africa. There are needs in this area. These are the economic indices of these 20 countries. These are the reasons we're choosing them. This is where we are going. Can't you see that the population is increasing? And therefore, you need to produce more drugs so that we prevent importation of the drug. Can't you see there's a pandemic and it caught us unawares, and we could not immunize more than 2 million and had to wait because we don't produce vaccine. We need to in another X number of years, visioning the future. So if you introduce and manage changes, you persuade, you clarify, you inspire your employees, your partners to accept healthy changes in the organizations without much resistance and discontent. People resist when they don't understand. People get discontented when they are not carried along. Just a few of you understand, you want to drive everybody. It's not possible. Light up the bulb for everybody to see. That's the symbol I have in the middle. Light up the bulb. Introduce. Put the light for everyone to see clearly. Clarify. Inspire them without much resistance. You always don't get resistance. People don't fall along the way when there's clarity, when the light is shining through, and there's no discontentment when you know that I may be earning 50,000 now. This company is going to be able to pay me 150 in the next 2 years. And even if I move to another place for 100,000, I'm not better off. So everybody has a life and everybody has a right to choose. And the right to choose the good thing, the right thing, is sometimes dependent on the right leadership, good leadership. Conflict resolution. A good leader understands the nature of the conflict and indeed, very proactively, sees the conflict before time and provides timely resolution. Minimizes the possibility of adverse results to the overall economic growth. This is so key. When we think of conflict, we don't think that conflict exist in businesses, but they do. Negative competition is a conflict. We are about 200 million people, and people are still struggling to be able to market simply because they don't have database on marketing. They don't have the demand map of their products. So they begin to struggle and begin to work against one another. Instead of using the mind to think of how to improve, they want to use their mind and intellect to pull down the one that is going ahead. Conflict resolution. A good leader understands the nature of their business and the need to resolve what could be a conflict ahead of time and provide a solution by driving the institution, by driving the business to minimize possibility of adverse results. And in doing this, the individual, the small company, the medium and the large, they begin to grow, and this affects the overall economic growth. A good leader brings influence to the table. Influence people. Influence people. Need to be able to influence people. A good leader brings his subordinates, bring them under his control in good terms, not control in terms of wanting to drive them like a slave. But you give them what they need, they understand. They are influenced by your positivity. They are influenced by your confidence. They are influenced by the knowledge. We hear this word, knowledge is power. Truly so. Truly so. So a good leader ensures that the subordinates are well influenced and bring them under the control with understanding, while ensuring that they put in their best efforts to achieve the goals of the organization or the goals of their company, wherever they represent. You can go beyond the influence, internal influence, as well as external influence, as long as it will benefit and improve the growth of the company and thus the economic growth of the country. Good leaders care about healthy work environment. This makes me remember an experience. When I was posted to the Ministry of Interior, as the permanent secretary, and I entered the ministry. I said, what the hell? Is this place, because it's interior, it's a forgotten entity? The directors laughed. I said, I'm not going to work here. You have changed the chairs. The chairs were so old. So they said, oh, there's no money in the budget. I said, you know what? Go to Karu, somewhere around Abuja. You see a group of carpenters. Get about 10 of them. Direct labor. We're going to pay them. Go and buy the materials. Change the chairs. Scrub the table. Repaint them, everything. We did it. The environment changed. The people changed. They started working. Buy some flowers in another place. Put them along the place. And I myself felt alive. And every one of us, not just my office, but right down to the clerk's office, was changed. They built a healthy environment. So that's environment in something that affects you daily, but there's an environment of work. Ensuring that there's transparency, positivity, efficiency, allowing the people to be efficient in what they do by providing the necessary tools. Look at what they do and what they need to do the work well and achieve results. Good leaders build healthy work environment, maintain positive and efficient work environment, which helps in stable growth to the organization. I've never seen one place where you have a good environment, you have the tools to work with, and you are not dumb, you have the knowledge of the work, and you sit down, you don't want to work. It's not so. So good leaders need to look inwards and make it a point of decision making that they will have a healthy work environment. Good leaders have succession planning. Succession planning is a very important aspect of leadership. You should be able to look through the business school and say, in the next 5 years, this is where we want to be under Professor Alo in the board and Akwanubi and the Vice Chancellor in the university, like he spoke in his word. We want the business school to be ranked with the London Business School. Do you believe? Once you believe, there has to be succession planning, that the build up will not break. You could have done a good job in 5 years, and somebody will come in 1 year and destroy everything that you have put in place. Now, on the light side, I'm not talking about political baptism. That one is different from succession planning. We don't want political baptism of political sons. We are talking about succession planning that has to do with the targets and the goals of the organization. Succession planning that has to do that will help to achieve according to the strategic plan that has been put in place. In other words, you'll be looking at capacity of the individual, knowledge base of the individual, ability of the individual, energy, strength, health, and so on and so forth. You'll be looking at those indices that can bring in the person and allow that the strategic plan, the goals and the objectives of that business, of that organization will be achieved. In other words, there are no sentiments. There are no sentiments. If your closest professor is and very loyal to you, it's a different thing. And he does not have this capacity, he cannot come there for succession planning. That's the issue. That's the issue. You are a leader when you are able to bring your friend to the table and say, look, thus far, can I help you? Thus far, I'm able to help you. But I think you can do better in this area. I'm not going to be able to put you out for this position because of A, B, C, D, because your gifts are in these areas and they are not needed for this position. That's good friendship. That's also sincerity. That's character. That's envisioning. That's management. That's avoiding conflict resolution for the future. That's ensuring that you influence positively. That's respectability between you, your friend, and those that you admire, away from the sentiments of ensuring that succession plan is not based on your friendship, but is based on the goals and objectives of the organization. There are leadership challenges in the new private sector model. Next slide, please. Thank you. There are challenges. It's not smooth in the private sector. In fact, I always feel sometimes that it's good to go through the public sector and then you come to the private sector. There's a lot of free experience from the public sector. But experience in the private sector is paid for. They study, they work. The public sector will work and you gain experience. You are exposed a lot. But there are leadership challenges in the new private sector business model. The first amongst them is the business model need to be reimagined. In the current position and aspects of things, we're moving from a product economy to a service economy. This reality has to come. Whatever industry you are participating in, we are moving from a product economy to a service economy, all the way to an outcome economy. This is a great challenge in the environment of Nigeria where we are, where service today is looked at as if I'm doing you a favor, whereas it's your work. It's absolutely incredible, but we need to change that mindset. Because whether you are selling an iPhone, if the iPhone functions well, it doesn't matter whether it's Apple or anything anymore. People are looking at the productivity. So we're looking at your service economy. all the way to the outcome economy. For the few exceptions who are making significant leaps in this space, there's usually a chief transformation officer in place who then acts as a strategic partner and reports directly to the CEO. And I'm sure, for example, the business school is doing that. You want to transform to become like London Business School. Transformation officer must be there. What will it take Lagos Business School to become in 5 years, in 2 years, in 3 years, the case may be? Somebody must be able to anchor that and drive it and put it forward. And so it is in every organization that the new private sector business model is service economy, not product economy. You have a hospital, you can treat malaria, other people can treat malaria. How is your receptionist welcoming the people? How are you? Welcome, and so on and so forth. Service. Here we are able to manage you until you will see to your family, etc., etc. And what's the outcome? The person is already feeling better. And what's the outcome again? It's going to bring in more people. And it's the same principle, even in the bank. We have a way of monitoring all our staff, and I mean all our staff on their service. And you know what? When we warn you 1 or 2 times, we will the big stick because we need the proper outcome of the economy of the bank that translates to the economy of the nation. For the few exceptions who are making significant leaps and putting transformation officer, we need to be able to anchor this in all our organizations, particularly participants in your different areas, even in your office, even when you are in the public sector, and you see that, you know, we've been hearing reform, and there's another word for maybe a DG for the reform. It's equal to transformation officer. What are the lines that need to be walked to be able to transform the system? Their traditional battlefields are being redrawn by new competitors, and it will continue to be so. If incumbent leaders do not leverage technology and digital to their advantage, their businesses will be under threat as products are at risk of getting commoditized. I say again, if you are a leader or you are building or aiming to be a leader and you don't want to get yourself into the technology and digital, you digitalize your system and it's better, it's cheaper, it's cost effective, then their business is under threat. One way to avoid being overtaken in the fast lane is to see current competitors as future partners. I said so before. Please don't have a mindset of negative competition. Have a mindset of positive competition. See them as partners. Look at where you can partner with them. Companies should open up and work across industries to ensure their survival. There is enough market. Population increase. As you increase the economy, you increase the markets. It's directly proportional. Now, the third challenge is transformation requires a modern organizational culture that cultivates innovation. You know, I told you innovation is one of the things that the leader must be able to carry out. Instead of starting with an overhaul of the legacy company culture, some companies start by creating a separate incubator where innovation can thrive. You incubate innovation. You model innovation. You add value to the system by trying to put in place an incubator that will help to drive a system that you want to see in place. You model it, you pilot it. Other companies take the view that it needs to be an organizational transformation. Most successful transformations are those that connect the existing business and intellectual property with new thinking and approaches. I repeat, connect the existing business and intellectual property with new thinking, new thinking, new thinking, new thinking, new thinking. Let's get it into our mind. You know, it's very easy to have a mindset. It's already set that does not allow anything to come in. I know it. Listen to that young person. Listen to that young person. Go back to the slide, please. Listen to that young person. You might have something to spin off your innovation. Amazing youth that we have across the board now. They speak to your mind and your experience give back to where they are going to. They have the new thinking, you have the experience, you are able to give birth so fast. So it's a collaboration, and this collaborative effort is very, very important. And that's where the new talent will not respond to the old ways of leading people when you don't listen. So the challenge is, new talents will never respond to your old ways of leading people. You are so dried up, like they say in my language, that to break you, to change you, you have to break you into pieces. You have no use. So in order for you not to break into pieces, listen to new talents. The new normal has accelerated the adoption of digital. Leaders need to embrace this new reality, focusing on hiring talents who are tech savvy or train them and help accelerate business transformation. Train the ones that are there, bring in new ones that will help to accelerate your business. And surely it will accelerate. It will surely accelerate. If you look at our bosses in Lagos today, those of you who are in Lagos, I asked a question. I said, these yellow buses, when they get out of the market? I asked a young man, he said, you know what, madam? They are always changing the accelerator cable, clutch, and everything. It's the body you are looking at. The vehicle is found. If you try to drive like them on the road, you end up somewhere else. They are adapting their situation and accelerating their business. It's the same principle. Hire new talents, train existing talent to be tech savvy, and accelerate your business. Game-changing leaders and key advocates for change are instrumental in setting and establishing the prerequisites for successful execution of transformation-focused strategy. We must do that at all times. So where are we going to now? We're going to the mindset. We need to get a new mindset, a new corporate mindset, a new individual mindset, a new group mindset, a new education mindset, all the mind. No wonder in my own faith, the Bible says that from the mind comes the issues of life. Let's go now to a new mindset for private sector leadership. It's needed. Let's start from how COVID-19 is reshaping the mindset of leaders. We woke up and found COVID-19. And what has it done? It has changed what business leadership looks like. Now and for the foreseeable future, for good. Smart leaders are adapting and their strategies, adapting their strategies to this new work environment. Below, I have there the map. Below are the mindsets of leaders out there shifting. Number one, you need to shape on emotional intelligence. I know a lot has been written in the books about emotional intelligence, but it's so key. Business leaders need to recognize the struggle for their workforce. You're not the only one that want the good people, so many people, and exercise empathy and flexibility. And we have the option of doing that now. Empathy and flexibility. They have families, they have children, they have hope. They want to build a future. They need to shape on emotional intelligence. Leaders can also exercise emotional intelligence by being vulnerable and sharing their own struggles. We're so secretive in our society. We've all struggled. We've all come through a way. Let them know, let them learn, let them see how you went, what you did, and where you failed, and the journey through the pandemic. People hide. Initially, I had COVID. They hide it. I couldn't understand it. You didn't buy it. It came. People need to hear your story as it is. 2, building trust was important before. It is now very essential. I gave a paper somewhere by Zoom in the United States. And they were talking so much of economy, money, this, everything. And I said to them, look, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about goodwill and trust economy. Goodwill and trust economy. With COVID-19, we have enjoyed goodwill. It is an economy. We didn't pay for the vaccines we got. We're not paying for the next one. It is goodwill economy. It is trust economy. With COVID-19, building trust has assumed deeper importance. The actions of the leaders must allow their employees that they care about each individual, and they are not mere tools to an end. For us in the organizations connected with, we make sure that we're looking for, we get vaccines to vaccinate all the families, the workers and their families. It's important. Number 3, increase focus on shared purpose. There's no one that has a singular purpose that does not have shared purpose in this world, not the least Nigeria. With teams working remotely, employees need an anchor to get a sense of connectivity, connection, and belonging. You give them that as a leader. I'm with you. Just like the VC, doesn't have to be at this meeting today. He left Abeokuta and came for a shared purpose. That's leadership. For a shared purpose. He could have said, I have a meeting there. It's very important. Indeed, it is very important. Could have said, oh, there's security. I have to drive all the way from Abeokuta to Lagos. I don't want to risk myself more than 2 times. But that is leadership. Working remotely, employees need to anchor to get a sense of connectivity, and that's what we're getting this morning, and belonging. Leaders, we need to help employees reconnect to their work, find a sense of purpose, and understand how their roles tie back to their overall business goal. Let the people know that they are part of the achievements, not just the leader, but everyone. Number 4, taking tough decisions. Those in leadership role must now learn and adjust to taking many tough decisions. You know, tough decisions are easy to make when you are fair. Equity, justice. When you've looked through your mind that you are not being vindictive, that you are not being petty, that you are not being wanting to punish the person for not just cause, but you are about the strategic goals of the organization. And you are about ensuring that the organization add value. And you are about making the person a better person for tomorrow. Then you take the tough decision. Whether it is to nationalize the workforce, identify new income streams, refocus the business, deploy more automation, and so on. All these things, those you are rationalizing, they have room elsewhere. Cancel them, put them through this, and you will have a better partnership, even when they leave you. They work for you. The new mindset for private sector leadership. The new mindset for private sector leadership. The recent events and developments are forcing a paradigm shift. And leaders need to evolve to remain relevant in the future. Every leader, all leaders at all levels in the private sector can take these 5 actions, and it will tilt their thinking towards the future. What are these 5 actions? Number 1, Please stay on top of new technologies and their possibilities. We keep learning. Take responsibility for understanding what technology can do in pursuit of your strategic objectives. You need it. You need it. I need it. Incorporate it into your vision and be willing to imagine the organization with technology. Imagine what it will be, the success, the growth, the enlargement, go on, etc., etc. Number 2, embody a great place to work with a sense of purpose and inclusion. I like the word inclusion. We use it a lot in Nigeria. Are we really including people? Make up your mind to have inclusion, because you are excluded yourself when you don't have inclusion. Leaders should set the tone for the organization, nurturing a culture that embraces different ways of working. A sense of purpose that people can rally behind, and a commitment to provide an environment that welcomes all. I read a little story online recently about a place that fire caught the place, everybody came out, but the security noticed that this young lady did not come out. Where could she be? The security said, this young lady is so respectful. Every morning that she comes in, good morning, sir. Every night that she goes out, good night, sir, because an older person. And he went out of his way to check the leads and found the lady there, just about fainting. Inclusion. That security man was included as part of a major working person in the organization, and saved that life. As you save lives, so you save the work. As you save the work, so you move the work forward. The culture will be different. As you nurture a better culture for an organization, as a leader who comes in and greets everyone, that little as that may be, that you are the leader and you tell your, how are you? How was your weekend, Wale? You are the VC, but you know, they see that to you. Believe me, you've made a mark. Believe me, you've created a culture. We need to be that kind of leader that embody a great place to work with a good culture, sense of purpose, and inclusion. Invest energy in your support. Number 3, leaders need people around them that they can trust. Leaders should invest time and energy to build network of relationship with people who will be honest and not sucker. We need that. We need trust. We need honesty. We need team to work. Develop your influence and delivery network. The best leaders should be able to exert influence beyond the boundaries of their hierarchy, not just the CEO and the executive directors, but not just the GMs and the assistant managers, but right through. The most effective leaders are highly networked and influential. You can't just be influential at the top alone. You need to be influential right down to the bottom of the ladder. You need everyone to climb to the top. If there was no importance to the bottom, you won't climb the first step before you reach the top. If there was no importance for the ladder to stay where and remain at the top, as you climb, they will be cutting off the steps below so that no one will come. But people need to come. So you need to allow yourself to, as you climb and steady the way, let others that are climbing also be part of you. And so you rethink your visibility. As workforce increasingly embrace working remotely, leaders will need to maintain their visibility by rethinking the ways in which employees experience their presence. The presence of Vice Chancellor and the VC this morning, it could have been just Professor Panubi, but no, they are here. They are here to increase and embrace the people that are the participants and everyone. And so maintain your visibility by rethinking the ways in which your employees experience your presence. It's very important. Let's now come to leadership styles. because styles differ. Let's come to leadership styles. In the leadership styles, you have the coaching style, you have the visionary, you have the pace setter, you have the servant. You hear all of them and choose. You can be all of them. You can be one of them. You can be two of them. But it's better to be all of them. In the coach, this leadership style is seeking to bring out the best in their employees through mentoring, goal setting, and motivation. This style is focused on people development rather than fast results because it is not time sensitive. So I've given you the lowdown on that. So as your coach, you're also looking at things. It's in government, institutions, health and social care. You know, when you're doing social care, you can't be time sensitive. You need to give it all. So where you use it differs. Visionary. This leadership style is the type that is bold and inspirational, aimed at improving an organization by building confidence, selling new ideas, proposing new ideas, and they are usually strategic thinkers. They think through the success of the organization. Mostly in information technology and global trade, you have these people. You have the pace setter. This leadership type is focused on fast results and performance. They are driven to achieve high standards and can be motivational and energizing, particularly in their pace environment. They're actually gifted in that area. You're looking at people in real estate, in finance and insurance and information technology. They are focused. Just they must get it set out. Then the servant leadership. These leaders are driven to put team members first. They are concerned on the fulfillment of their team rather than results at any cost. They tend to be patient. They're always caring. They are respected. They are found in government, education and non-profit organizations, arts and entertainment. We also have the democratic leadership. The next slide, please. Democratic leadership. These leaders are incessantly seeking input and feedback from their team. If they are real Democrats, that's what they should be doing. They rely on their team to make decisions through Democrats and encourage creativity and innovation. So they have an impact. Technology in the arts and entertainment and finance and government as well is necessary. Transformational leadership style. These leaders, they care deeply about their team. They are focused on meeting organizational and team goals rather than developing team members. They respect and respect everyone, and they command respect as well, seeking to build a very strong and viral team, and a team with great morale. You have construction, manufacturing, and management consulting. These are the areas where they come into. Today, as we take a look through this, and we put in our thinking cap, and we review inwardly, and we come with positive outcomes in our decision going out from here, which leader do you want to become? Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awosika, for your excellent presentation. And
thank you very much.
The light you have shared on the topic. There are a few questions for you to answer.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. The first one, someone wants to know from the audience how a leader should undertake succession planning without generating crisis in the system.
Okay. Thank you. Do you want me to take that now?
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Succession planning is very important. For you to be able to have succession planning, you must have, it's not an emotional decision. You have your goals, you have your strategies in place, you have your the capacity of those at the top. You can't bring somebody from the bottom. So for you to have promoted people to the top, you must have gone through the proper approach, unless you have been getting people to the top by sentiments, friendship, and all of that. But if your organization has been doing the right thing, you have to take the succession planning from the top. If you are a group managing director, your deputy, when choosing the deputy group managing director, you must, together with your team that are doing that, put succession planning in mind. And the work of the group managing deputy must be one that will be very, very apt and well capacitated to be able to fit in. So if you have a president, you have a vice president, you have a vice chancellor, and then you have deputy vice chancellors. The deputy vice chancellors must be such that have the capacity, that have the knowledge, that have the strategy to be able to achieve the goals. So there are no sentiments. Number one is no sentiment. Number two is no favoritism, still the same thing. Number three is the goals and objectives of the organization is well known to all, transparent. Number four is the capacity, the way that you want to rate the person who should come into that place should be very clear. Understand? You must be able to give all of these points enough goals, enough scores that will allow the best to emerge. So when you are doing your scoring charts, make sure that you put your scoring chart that will align with the goals, the strategic plan of the organization. When you are transparent, when you are dispassionate, when your vision is clear and the vision is the same, marries with the vision of the organization, then there will be no discontent amongst the people. You get through easily.
Thank you for your answer. The second question. Someone is saying that Access Bank has been growing geometrically since you became chairman, under your chairmanship. And he wants you to share some of your experiences or success tips with us.
Okay. First of all, it's not under my chairmanship that it started growing. It's been growing since. Access Bank has been growing and will grow more. It's been growing. You know, only a couple of years ago, they came in as they took over the Intercontinental Bank. That was far long before I came there. And so there has been a strategy in place to grow the bank. And the board and senior management takes this very seriously. We do retreat and look at all the areas of weaknesses and our strength. We also look at what will be the prerequisites for moving forward to be able to achieve these things. And these retreats are not retreats that you just sit down and maybe you are eating and doing that. They are serious retreats, I tell you. They are serious, no phone calls, nothing. And we're bringing in, we always bring in people who can tear down the areas that we have weaknesses and tell us what we're not doing right and what we need to do right. We also have measurable indices for everyone from the top right down to the bottom, so that everyone knows his role and everyone knows that it's measured in this way and everyone is measuring the other person. So those are the things. All is it's an inclusion. It's all inclusive. Board, top management, middle level management, and lower down is all inclusive. And the culture of the bank is very, very important for everyone to believe that we need to be the African most respected bank in the world. So that means everyone is involved. You need to see yourself that you represent wherever, at whatever level you are working. You need to see yourself that you represent the bank, because you need to bring respectability to the bank in terms of your work and in terms of your outcome. And most importantly, we have developed the technology. We work through the highest level of technology software so that we are able to reach out to every part of the world where we are situated. And it's able to be managed. We're using the same type of technology, whether in the UK or in Zambia or in Ghana or in Dubai or in South Africa, wherever, we're using the same type of software. So technology has been very key in the progress of the work and the bank. But above all, I think God is favoring us. We thank God. Thank you.
Thank you for your insight. A third question. How do we encourage our youth to aspire to leadership position despite the constraints in the Nigerian environment? Like in business, there's nepotism, in politics, there's godfatherism. So what's the hope for the youth? How do we encourage them to still aspire to leadership?
Thank you. Very good question. And I thank God that the youths have great opportunity. I just mentioned that in Nigeria, we have 9,557 words, and every word has a resource. Light your candle in your little area. Light your candle in your little area and do what you can see. Do what you can see, what you have knowledge of. Don't follow another person's track, follow your own track. What you have knowledge of, do it no matter how small it is. You will get somewhere. From small, you become medium, you become large. Please light your candle, then light your bulb, then light your fluorescent, and so on and so forth. You'll see more and more clearly, and you'll be able to do what you have capacity to do. If you don't have enough capacity, please learn. Open yourself to learning and try to get yourself acquainted with innovation. Be innovative. Innovation cannot be ignored. Innovation cannot be ignored. Do things differently but positively. And lastly, that I will advise is, please don't ever be intimidated. You are important. Thank you.
Yet another question, this one on the screen. Somebody wanted to share some insight on how we can effectively monitor and supervise branches of any organization.
Yeah. You want me to share that?
Yeah, you want to.
Yes, okay. I'll start from before the IT time, we can. It's amazing why, I'll just tell you, the IT in 2012, when I was Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Power, I came there and I was wondering what an engineer is that you bet to this. How can I see the nation? Where they have life, where they don't have life? I'm not a computer scientist. So I called McKinsey and they put up a software for me with their partners. And I had a 24 hours watch on that software. I can tell you, my first experience was somewhere near Otta. The light went down and we called the officer in charge of that area. What's happening in Otta? The light went down. Is there a major problem? Once it got around the country that from the Ministry of Power, they will see whether your light is on or not. Everybody started working maximally. And you can testify that there was a lot of light in the country at that time. I don't know what has happened to the software, but that was one of them. I say this to say that technology is the key for effective monitoring. But you must also skill those who are in all of those areas that you are monitoring. So be aware that you are monitoring them and that it will be one of the yardstick for measuring their efficacy. So there must be efficacy measurement, efficiency measurement, and the indices, and it will be a true reflection of the work that they do. So I will say again, technology and as well as training are two key areas for effective management and monitoring, as well as evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. And finally, someone wants to know what the banks are doing to ensure financial inclusion at the grassroots.
Okay. Of course, you know that it's the policy of the federal government for financial inclusion. But I can only speak for Access Bank. For financial inclusion, what we have done in Access Bank is we've launched Access Closer. The Access Closer, if you look around in communities, we look at how many people in the community trade and everything, and we just build a small thing there. It's not a full-fledged bank that has technology running it. And sometimes we link it up with an existing trade person. For example, if somebody is selling MTN cards and all of those things, we put that Access Closer with that business, so that he has that business, is running this, he has POS, is able to link up with the larger bank in that area to be able to give services. That's our own approach to inclusion. That's one area. The second approach we have is through women. By doing women banking, we realize that women do a lot of trade in rural areas and everywhere. So we do women banking so that we can give them loans at single digits, which we are doing effectively. And from time to time, training them all over on different ways they can improve their trade. I believe there are other banks that are also doing different things all over the place to ensure financial inclusion. But more importantly, CBN has been able to come out with 5% into the microfinance sector, 5% interest rate for the microfinance sector to be able to reach out to Nigerians in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awosika, MFR, for the insight you have brought to bear on this topic. I'll be reading some of the comments. Maybe you're not reading the chat. People are appreciating the fact that you have spoken from your heart as somebody who has passion for leadership improvement. So we really, really appreciate what you have done. I don't want to say that expect us to invite you in a short while from now. As the VC has said, you don't invite somebody who is the owner of the house to our own house. You are a member of the advisory board, and in fact, the VC will have gone to the extent of saying that, look, you go and invite people instead of people inviting you. We were talking about Baba Basajo, bringing him into the shares. So it is yours. So we hope that we'll continue to work together with you and other members of the advisory board of the business school. I mean, those of us that are faculty members. I want to appreciate the presence of the Vice Chancellor. He has been with us. So he's unable to make any closing remark, and the Executive Director is also in that program. The chair of the advisory.
A closing remark. I'm going to make a closing remark.
The VC is there. Yes. I didn't know that. Oh, welcome, sir. Go ahead, VC. I didn't know that you were here. It's great. Go ahead, sir.
Once again, I want to appreciate Dr. Dere Awosika, a respected personality in the country, for the insight into the issue of leadership, governance, private sector, and in the public sector. And like I said, this is the best way to get the experience of people like Dr. Dere Awosika into focus and see what we can do at the end of the day to send the information out through different medium that we have. So once again, I want to thank you for this wonderful presentation. This will be the third, if I'm right. Started with Mr. Fashola. Then the last one was Dr. Maduka. I want to thank you. And I want to say again that when they start their lectures, I'm sure that they are bringing you as part of the faculties. We will not allow you to just go away with those experiences that we have gathered over the years. The chairman of MTN is coming on board too, and we have Engineer Eze, who is already connected. We are going to bring people that have contributed positively to the development of this country. Do not allow them to go away with the experience that they have gathered over the years. We want the experiences to be shared with the young ones so that we believe in this country, so that we know that we can contribute to the development of this country. And we see ourselves as solution provider for the country. Deacon and also they always say that the university is the light. Outside there, you have darkness. So it's from the university where you have the light that will be able to illuminate our environment and give the government the assurance that the solution needed to move the country forward is in the university, not from the expatriate or whoever we bring from outside. So once again, I thank you, Ma, for your contribution. Thank the chairman of the advisory board for being part of it. And I want to apologize again that Dr. Alo is not able to join because he's the one that is facilitating this program at this time. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for inviting me, and thank you for listening. I appreciate your comments, and God will continue to help us. Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Thank you, Ma.
So that will be the end of the program. We thank everybody for joining.
Excellent. God bless you all.
Yeah, I should. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. I want to leave.
It was recorded.